we go.
We're learning more about a major delay in yesterday's election out of Cameron County. Our Kirk Chason got to the bottom of it all.
Plus, one day after the election, Weslaco's interim police chief resigns. We're learning more about the reason why.
Tracking lots of clouds. So far, just a few showers, but rain chances are increasing as we go through the next couple days. And your first 4 and 5 forecast. Channel 5 News at 5 begins right now.
From the Valley's News Channel, this is Channel 5 News at 5.
Good afternoon. We are following breaking new developments on the body found alongside a road in McAllen yesterday.
Our Steve Solis is live in FAR with more information. Steve? We're waiting on Steve. I can hear him in our IFB. We're working to get the signal up. But Hidalgo County Sheriff's deputies releasing more information about that body found yesterday. They actually identified the remains belonging to Victor Manuel Garcia, Oscar.
Yeah, that's the latest developments on that story right now. And we do have Steve Solis, who is in FAR, with more details. Steve?
Well, we're now hearing that was the body of 26-year-old Victor Garcia. Now, FAR police tell me that he was a witness in a kidnapping which took place here in FAR about 2 weeks ago. Now, Garcia's body was found yesterday near Ware and 9 Mile Roads. The Hidalgo County workers found his body in a couple of trash bags. Now, FAR police say that Garcia may have witnessed his kidnapping. It took place near Poinsettia and Sioux Roads back on October 29th. It was there where a woman driving a white pickup was kidnapped at gunpoint. Police say Garcia was in possession of the truck the woman was driving before the kidnapping took place. Now, the woman who was kidnapped is still missing. If you have any information about this case, FAR police is asking that you call FAR Crime Stoppers at 787-8477. Live in FAR, Steve Solis, Channel 5 News at 5.
New developments on the resignation of Weslaco's interim police chief. Sergio Ramirez says politics got in the way of public safety. Last night's election changed the majority vote on Weslaco City Commission. Channel 5 News spoke to Ramirez this afternoon. He says the new commission was going to fire him. The 21-year police veteran resigned this morning. He is seeking retirement. Weslaco City Manager is reassuring residents the police department is okay.
The reality is that regardless of who's in charge in the department, the services are continuing to be provided to the community. We take the charge for public safety very seriously.
Lieutenant Ted Walensky, a 17-year veteran, was appointed lieutenant in charge. He has not applied for the chief's position, though 29 others have. No word on when the new commission will select a permanent police chief. Now, Mel, I know you've been digging into the changes at the Weslaco Police Department, and you talked to Ramirez just a few hours ago. What did he tell you?
You know, Oscar, he was extremely candid with us. He didn't dodge our questions. I asked if he thought he was under investigation, if he happened to campaign for specific candidates to keep his job, how he feels about resigning. Here's a little bit of what he said.
There's a lot of other stuff happening behind the doors that people don't know that I'm disappointed in.
Do you think it's eventually going to come to light?
Well, I mean, who knows?
I hustled to transcribe that interview just before Channel 5 News at 5, and as soon as this newscast ends, I'm going to race to write that report. It's set to top Channel 5 News at 6. Stay tuned. There's some relief across the border after the arrest of a fugitive mayor and his wife. They were arrested in connection with the disappearance of 43 college students. The former mayor of Iguala, Jose Luis Albarca, and his wife Maria Pineda were arrested yesterday morning at this house. They had rented it in Mexico City's neighborhood there. Police say they didn't put up a fight when they took them in, but in spite of arrests, some say it's just a part of a much larger problem.
This individual who was just detained is nothing more than the lowest link of a great chain of corruption and complicity that demonstrates the Mexican state is a criminal state at all levels.
Several mass graves were found in Guerrero State. DNA testing on them has yet to match them to any of the missing students. Mexican police already named the couple as a probable masterminds in the disappearance. Officials say the mayor and his wife ordered police to abduct the students, who were handed over to a criminal gang.
It's been a cloudy day across the valley. Not too many showers out there. Occasionally little showers and sprinkles around, but the rain will be increasing later this evening, tonight, and tomorrow. This is radar over the last 3 hours, and you see a couple small showers coming up from the south, and a live view of the latest radar image shows a shower headed north toward Harlingen. So a little quick shower there may give you just a brief round of rain, but temperatures are running mostly in the 70s in the valley, lower 80s near the coast, but temperatures will be going down as rain chances go up. We'll track the big changes in your first 4 and 5 7-day forecast straight ahead.
Well, now to a vote count that went way into the wee hours of the morning. It wasn't until like early this morning it was finally all kind of settled. Cameron County officials say anywhere from 300 to 400 ballots slowed down the vote count in last night's election.
Now we're Kirk Chase on working to get to the bottom of what happened all day. He's standing by in our Cameron County newsroom. Kirk, what'd you learn?
Yeah, once again, just those 300 or 400 ballots out of 18,000 votes cast, those ballots were irregularly marked. So that means the voter did not properly fill in the oval next to a candidate's name. Today, Elections Administrator Chris Davis showed us some common examples of irregular marking. Those ballots set in motion a long process which dragged on into the early morning hours.
Except the law says that when we have 2 or more irregularly marked ballots at any of these 70 locations that come in, we must open the box and assign our sorting and resolution teams to the ballots to sort out the irregularly marked if they haven't been done at the precinct level, and then resolve those irregular markings.
So Chris Davis says this is his first general election in charge down there in Cameron County, so he's not sure how they handled irregular ballots in years past. He says the county may switch to an automated system like the one they use right now in Hidalgo County. One question: was there any way to prevent last night or this morning's early long count? That's a question we dug into, and we'll have the county's answer coming up tonight on Channel 5 News at 6. Reporting live from the Cameron County newsroom, Kirk Chase on Channel 5 News at 5.
Texas Governor-elect Greg Abbott talked about his plans for transition to the governor's office today. It will not be a dramatic one since it's one GOP administration replacing another. The former Texas Attorney General defeated his Democratic opponent, Wendy Davis, by double digits. At a press conference today, Abbott said it was an honor to have been selected, but it was time to put the election behind and get to work.
The people of Texas elected me to do a job, and we begin working on that job today. I've already had discussions with Dan Patrick about various issues that we will be working on going forward.
After the press conference, Abbott will be meeting with Speaker of the House Joe Straus. Abbott is an attorney from Houston. In this governor's race, the governor-elect and State Senator Wendy Davis spent nearly $85 million in the race for the top state seat.
You know, Oscar, last night the results were even better for the GOP than Republican strategists had anticipated. In the Senate, Republicans are now the majority. GOP women had a very good night as well. Iowa and West Virginia elected their first female senators. In Utah, Mia Love became the first Republican black woman to win a seat in Congress. The GOP managed to capture governor's mansions in traditionally blue states and took control of more state legislatures than ever before.
We won because our policies resonated with the electorate, our ground game mobilized voters, and our candidates connected with the American people.
Exit polls show voters went to the polls angry with President Obama and took it out on his party. Yesterday's election drastically changed the political landscape. Now it's time for some in Washington to face some pretty new realities.
President Obama addressed what many have called the wave of change that voters started at the ballot box. He had a press conference this afternoon. ABC's Karen Travers is on Capitol Hill.
Good afternoon, everybody. President Obama did not sugarcoat it.
Obviously, Republicans had a good night, and they deserve credit for running good campaigns.
While Republicans declared a decisive, sweeping victory.
We won in red states, we won in blue states, and we won in purple states.
Republicans picked up 7 Senate seats last night, more than they needed to claim the majority. And that number could go up. There are still 3 races too close to call. Kentucky Republican Mitch McConnell's now poised to be the new Senate Majority Leader. Today, he said he'll try to work with President Obama.
The American people have spoken. They've given us divided government. The question for both the President and for the Speaker and myself and our members is, what are you going to do with it?
The Republican tidal wave didn't just sweep the Senate. The GOP held on to win key governors' races, even in typically Democratic strongholds like Maine, Massachusetts, and Maryland. And they expanded their majority in the House, giving them their biggest advantage there since Herbert Hoover was president. New Jersey Republican Governor Chris Christie aggressively campaigned for candidates across the nation.
The president took a beating last night.
But some analysts say Republicans shouldn't take last night's victories as a mandate.
It was a rejection of the president, and it was a rejection of the politics that's been practiced the last couple of years in Washington, D.C.
President Obama boiled down the agenda for his final 2 years to this: get stuff done. He says he'll do that through executive action if necessary, which he acknowledged Congress may not like. Karen Travers, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
A Weslaco neighborhood being overrun by trash. We'll show you the messy situation. Channel 5 is on your side after the break.
And the state of Texas is issuing rules for Texans coming back from Ebola-affected countries. We're going to let you know if those people could come within feet of you. That and much more when Channel 5 News returns in 2 minutes.
Breaking news. Breaking stories. This is Channel 5 News with Oscar Adame, Melissa Correa, and First Warn 5 Weather with Chief Meteorologist Tim Smith. This is Channel 5 News at 5.
Sites. The trash is piling up and rodents are moving in.
Neighbors in Weslaco went nearly a month without trash services. The garbage service wasn't responding, so they called 5 on Your Side for help. Our John Bartel got results.
It's trash day for the entire neighborhood.
Land. Where can I land? Look at all those fires. There is no room for this trash anymore.
Diana Perez and her neighbors are not happy with their trash service.
There's a lot of flies and there's a lot of cats and dogs, and It's just a mess.
The trash buildup has gone on too long.
It's about a month now. It's been about 3 to 4 weeks, about a month.
Perez complained to the garbage service provider. This is what they said.
I've already called them and told them, hey, we need the trash picked up. They lied to me and said, well, there's a schedule for Thursday. Thursday came and went.
Here's the problem. Perez and her neighbors live on 7th Street. There's construction on 7th Street surrounding her apartment complex. The garbage service claims they can't get through. Channel 5 got the city involved.
There were some barricades installed on this road so the garbage trucks couldn't get in. And by law, they're not allowed to remove barricades.
Utilities manager David Salinas admits there has been some miscommunication between the garbage service provider and the city. But the problem could have easily been fixed weeks ago.
All they had to do was ask and we could remove the barricades.
Salinas made a quick call to the garbage service company. The problem is now solved. Now, construction will continue along the 7th and 8th Street area here for the next few weeks. The city of Weslaco wants to know if you're having trash problems. All you have to do to report it is call the Utility Billing Department. John Bartel, Channel 5 News, Weslaco.
And we have some more contact information for you. If you are having trouble with trash in Weslaco, a couple of phone numbers for you. The Public Utility Department can be reached weekdays from 8 o'clock in the morning to 4:45 in the afternoon. Their number, 968-3181. And also Weslaco's trash service provider, Allied. They can be reached weekdays from 9 to 5. Their number, 432-7316.
A lot of clouds in the valley skies this evening, and those clouds will continue to thicken this evening and tonight. That means better chances for rain coming back and some cooler weather. Rain is in the forecast next. A live view out there showing a lot of clouds in the valley skies. 76 degrees from Lone Star National Bank and Farr. Clouds keeping temperatures down a bit today, but still able to warm up close to 80 in some areas. The cooler weather, though, is not too far behind, so the clouds will remain, showers will increase, and cooler weather will eventually come in later tonight and for tomorrow. So if you have something to do in the next couple days, probably going to do it right now before the rainy days set in tomorrow and probably most of Friday. Let's get to the maps and show you the First 1.5 Doppler network. Most areas are still dry. There are a couple little small sprinkles and showers moving up, but the bigger rain's still pretty far off to the north. But it looks like rain will generally be on the increase later tonight and tomorrow. So a couple of little small showers right now moving their way north. One just near Harlingen starting to fade away, and a couple of showers you see elsewhere. A little small one still south of the border, and a little small shower kind of on the west side of Edinburgh, northwest side of McAllen. So a little small shower here and there early this evening, but like I said, rain will be on the increase later tonight. So instead of little small showers tomorrow, I think, or little small showers tonight, I think we'll see a lot of just widespread rain most of the day on Thursdays. It probably is going to rain most of Thursday coming up. 70s right now in most spots. It's dropped to 69 in McAllen, 65 in Rio Grande City, and that's about where the cold front is, just coming into areas of the upper valley right now. The front behind it has temperatures in the 50s and 60s. So once the front comes through, temperatures will settle into the 60s tonight. Once the rain really picks up, that should drive temperatures down, maybe hanging in the low 60s in most spots tomorrow. Here's the way it looks on the satellite radar. Clouds streaming up from the south. Most of the showers, though, still missing us to the north, closer to where the front has been. This front has been making its way down through the hill country where there was some heavier rainfall yesterday and last night, and that rain still moving its way along through Texas. So really, if you're driving anywhere between here and the hill country tonight and tomorrow, you'll likely be driving in rain most of the time. Future track shows this evening, 6 p.m. A couple features on here. We have the front coming in to about Starr County right now. We have this little faded low I put on here. That's the upper level low that's kind of spinning around, throwing the moisture our way. So those two hanging around tonight and tomorrow to increase the rain chances. Again, once the front comes through, though, then the rain chances should pick up during the daytime on Thursday. The upper level system, though, will kind of just sit there through Friday, keeping clouds and probably some rain most of Friday as well. And then once that finally kicks through, then the dry air will come in behind it. And if it comes through in time, then we should be able to finally clear out on Saturday. Maybe not early in the morning, but hopefully by later in the day, some sunshine coming through. Then everything's way gone by Sunday. I think we should be back into mostly sunny skies. Here's another close-up view of future track. The cold front's moving into Starr County now as the front comes through. Showers on the increase later tonight and tomorrow. The cooler weather comes in. So we see on Thursday how we just end up in clouds and rain around most of the day. Probably going to rain the majority of Thursday and maybe the majority of Friday coming up. So first 1-5 7-day forecast. Temperatures in the 60s tomorrow. May start off in the 70s in the lower valley ahead of the front, but falling through the 60s during the day with clouds and rain, maybe a thunderstorm or two. Friday, clouds all day and some showers or some rain still hanging around. Should clear out most stuff by Saturday afternoon. Some indications are there might be some showers in the morning, but warming up gradually over the weekend into the 70s, near 80 by Monday and Tuesday. And then another front bringing some clouds and showers possible next week. We'll keep tracking these fronts in your first 1-5 forecast coming up.
Researchers are beginning to test an Ebola vaccine on humans, what that vaccine has in it. And we're also talking to an American doctor who volunteered herself for the testing.
President Obama is asking Congress for $6.2 billion for emergency funding to fight Ebola. The president said it will be used in West Africa to secure the U.S. against any possible spread. The Ebola money is first requested from Mr. Obama in the aftermath of an election that ushered in a Republican-controlled Congress. The White House is asking for prompt action. If approved, the money would be added to the deficit. A Texas task force on Ebola has recommended against mandatory quarantines for medical workers. They would have to not be showing any symptoms unless they are considered high risk. There will be 4 risk levels for healthcare workers, possibly exposed to Ebola: high risk, some risk, low, and no identifiable risk exposures. High risk includes exposure to blood or body fluids of a person who has Ebola. Governor Rick Perry has ordered state health officials to begin implementing those recommendations.
Another story developing overseas. The testing trial of an experimental Ebola drug is underway at a hospital in Switzerland. 120 volunteers are taking part in the first phase of this testing, among them a 36-year-old American doctor. She says that while there are always unknowns in taking part in a trial, finding a working, safe vaccine is worth the risk.
Yeah, I think the sooner we have a vaccine that works, that is safe, then the sooner we can use that vaccine to vaccinate the people in West Africa and wherever else the Ebola could spread.
She's only going by the name of Tina. She'll soon join health teams working in West Africa. Researchers say the vaccine carries a single Ebola protein. Doctors say that can't trigger the disease, but could be successful in causing the body to produce antibodies against Ebola. Results should be known by December. Well, coming up, much more after the break.
We'll be right back. Stay with us.
But time to check out what's ahead in 30 minutes from now on Channel 5 News at 6. He woke up this morning on indefinite suspension without pay. After lunch, he was reinstated and to be compensated for the time he was suspended. We'll tell you why the city of Weslaco is putting Albino Flores back in uniform.
And Hidalgo County voters shut down Proposition 1. What's next for the hospital districts here in the Valley? Our Erica Proffer continues her coverage.
And your first 1570 forecast. Get ready for more clouds and eventually more rain coming in. Looks like Thursday will be a rainy, cloudy day almost all day long. Same thing for Friday. It could be very wet. Temperatures only in the 60s and some sunshine returns for the weekend, but another front could bring showers next week.
I tell you, between late night election work yesterday and the rain, it's hard to get up, but there's plenty of news today to keep us busy.
Catch up on sleep on the weekend.
Yeah, catch up with headlines in 30 minutes.
Have a safe evening.
Closed captioning brought to you by Channel 5.